Right, well I've got myself a couple of whole herrings here, which I scrounged off a mate that works for a cold store. They bring them in from Norway in these huge blocks, 30-40 kilos, and as they're unloading them, just occasional ones fall off. So just look at those. Look at the size of them. What have we got there? What's that? 32 centimetres, about 13 or 14 inches long, that. And it's a real beauty. The expert fisherman might tell you that it hasn't got bloody red eyes, therefore it's not very fresh, but it's been frozen for 18 months in a big public cold store, and it's been defrosting in my fridge for a couple of days, so it's not going to look very bright-eyed, but it'll still be good enough for me anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how to split it. So I've got some kippers here already smoked, considerably smaller, look, but still very nice and fat. And what I want to show is I'm going to use the kipper to show whereabouts you need to be making your first cut. So get the kipper out of the way. Get my hands washed so I can touch the camera, so that I can move it and put it above the bench. There, right. So here's the smoked kipper. Herring, obviously, a kipper is a smoked herring, and the Latin name is Clupea herringus. For those who are interested, that's out the Atlantic as opposed to a Baltic herring or whatever. Anyway, so here's the kipper, and you can see that down one side runs the backbone, and down the other side there's no backbone. So the reason I'm showing that is because when you make your first cut, make sure that you cut it on one side of the backbone. Don't slip over and finish up with half the backbone on one side and half of it on the other. That's just, you know, not the right way to do it. So cut all the way next to the backbone, all the way down one side, which is what I'll do now. Now that one's had its skin torn. Let's do the other one. The Spanish and the Portuguese split cod. Well, we split haddocks in England as well, to make fin and haddocks. And what they do is they split them from the belly so that they're joined at the back and open them out that way. But a kipper is split from the back and joined at the belly. So what I'm going to do is make the first cut right next to the fin, on the top rather than underneath it, just because it's easier that way for me. All the way down. Keep on the same side of the spine if you can. Famous last words, I don't even know that I'm going to do that. Now that kipper has been split by machine, so it'll make mincemeat of a kipper bone. So I'm, you know, just going to done exactly what I said don't do. Now that's it. So all the way through his head, all the way through. There we go. Take his belly out and everything. So I've made a hole in it there, look, but then it's the first time I've ever split a herring. So I'm quite happy with that. The spine's all down one side, that side's all flesh. So we'll close it up and have another go. Let's see if I can get this one a bit better. pointing away from you. Put on top of the fin, all the way down to the bottom, then turn your knife, go all the way to the top. A good hard push to get through the head. Damn, gone through it again. Not to worry. Pull the belly out. And that's that. So really, they need a wash now before they go on the fire, because what I'm going to do next, oh, I've left the gills in, look. What I'm going to do next, not that it matters, I don't suppose, because you don't eat any part of the head anyway, but it looks better. What I'm going to do next is smoke it and cook it all at the same time on my chiminea. Normally if you buy Kipper from the supermarket, whether it's whole or boneless, it'll always be uncooked, it'll be cold smoked. Now if you were to buy a mackerel fillet, almost always it's hot smoked, ready to eat out of the packet, even if it's cold. So I'm going to smoke it and cook it all at the same time. So I'm going to take those for a wash. You can see why they dye them, can't you? They put brown dye in them, a natto dye, and it just covers up the bloodiness, although that is more bloody than a very fresh one would be, to be fair. Right, so I'm going to have a look, see how the chiminea is getting on. Take some sawdust with me off the old circular saw. I don't think the chiminea is going to be ready yet. Probably a bit too fierce. There we go. It's a really blustery day today. It's lovely and warm, but I've put it around the back of the garage because the wind is too strong in the garden. So yeah, that's far too strong. I'm going to wait for that to die down a bit. Throw some sawdust on it. Take the chimney off, and then get my super duper homemade spatula cum roasting mesh and give it a go. So I'll turn off now and come back in 10 or 20 minutes. One thing I forgot to show you when I was splitting the herring, that it needs to go in salt for in brine, rather, a brine solution, not a 100% brine solution, for about 10 minutes or so. So what I should have done is just show how I'm going to do it. I've just got a big Kilner jar, which that holds 5 litres, 2/3 full. Cup of salt, a small French coffee cup with, what's there, half an ordinary English cup. Sling that in, give it a swish about. And then just knit your fingers together so that you can feel whether there's any salt still in there. It won't take long to dissolve, because it's a weak solution. There's a lot of water to the salt. If you were making 100% brine, it would take longer to dissolve. So I think that's about done. So here's my bloody herring. So this is going to give it a wash anyway. What does it taste like? Yeah, a bit salty. Get the other one in. Give it a wash. Try and keep them open, get the salt onto the flesh. So I'll leave those in there for 10 minutes. There they are. There's the gibbies. What's the chimney doing? Yeah, another 15 minutes and that'll have died down. I'll throw some sawdust on and we're ready. Right. Right, well there's been a change of plan. What I was going to do was, well, start from the beginning. They've had their 10 or 15 minutes in the brine and I've hung them up just to let the salt drain away. The smokehouses would leave it for far longer than the 20 minutes that I have. But what I was going to do was, I was going to take the chimney off the chiminea, that top part lifts off, and then cook it over the belly. But what I'm going to try instead is hang it in the chimney, just one of them. So I was going to use this contraption to do it over the belly, but what I'm doing is I'm going to just put a spike through the top near his head. But I've got to be careful because it's going to go soft because I'm hot smoking it. And this is more or less how they do it in the smokehouses. But when you're cold smoking them, it's not going to go soft and drop off. But because I'm hot smoking it, the flesh is going to go soft. And there's a chance that I might finish up with it in the flame. So anyway, it's the flame's died down. There's not a lot of smoke coming out, but there's enough smoke to give it a bit of smoky flavour. So now let's just see what happens. It does get very hot in there. I think I'll get some more sawdust. Where is it? I've got a bucket full of it somewhere. Blast. I'm not going to use that because that sweepings up. That'll have to do. Getting a bit dusty. Oh, that's a bit more smoky. some pallet blocks here, but they're painted, so I'll try not to put those on. So just make it taste of goodness knows what. Yeah, let's give it a bit of flame. Okay, some sizzling. Shit. Oh shit. That was close. Ha! Bugger! Damn! Damn, damn, damn. Right, chimney off. Plan A. So it did exactly what I thought it might do. It went too soft. And it's all in the mud. Some tongs. Oh, she's sizzling. think I'll get the silver paper now. So we don't have an accident. Look at that. Oh, I wouldn't mind that flesh being exposed to the flame a bit actually. What are we thinking? Can't be far away. I think it's done now. So, look at that. Listen to it, that's definitely done. Look at it, look at the size of it. That's only half of it. Half of it fell in the fire. Well, I couldn't have eaten a full one anyway. And I'm pleased because the half that I'm eating, this half, is the half with the backbone on. And the backbone is easy to peel off from. If you pull the backbone off, it takes the ribs as well, look. There's the ribs, and that's the backbone. They pull out. So I wouldn't say on the side where the backbone is you're left with a boneless piece, because you're definitely not, but it's easier. You get the ribs in here, down that side, but they're not there. They're obviously all attached to that. So this is what you call the loin. That's along its back. Look how tender that is. You've got to watch on the back of the kipper. There's a dorsal fin. Is it the dorsal? Yeah, on its back. And that can be a bit nasty, some bones in there. So, right, okay. I would say this was more for fun than for professionalism. So I'm not expecting it to taste very smoked. Actually, it's nice though. Cameraman.
Oh, I've got my things in.
Oh! A proper smokehouse would leave it in smoke, cold smoke, overnight, so it would have a good, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours. So this isn't exactly smoked, is it? But, oh, it's tasty. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, it's very tasty.
So we've done fairly well actually, with bones. Oh, there's the brown meat, that's the best. Like you. Brown meat's next to the skin, halfway along its back. There it is, there's the brown meat. It's like kind of fatty layer that runs all the way along the back, which is really nice. Try it. Well, it was fun, and it's very, very tasty, but it's not as salty or as smoky as a proper kipper. But who cares? So, that was quite good fun. Do you like it?
Can't really chew it. Just put it there, thanks.
Well, I don't know whether I'll bother to post this video. It was a bit of a disaster, but it was good fun. Right, project over.